Yeah, but you know what we will get? On with this podcast, the Drunken News Game Show. We're back. Steve is the maestro now. He's ready, you can tell.
Yeah, you didn't catch me off guard.
Nope, no one's caught off guard here. So anyways, Steve.
Brian has a rant.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I'm going to talk about something.
I'm
be on
excited
the
to
fucking
hear what it is.
You know, I'm sure it'll actually be fine.
I really don't have.
Just don't talk about potatoes.
I won't
Yeah,
talk about
just fucking
potatoes.
pass.
How they sound.
Stay away from produce. That would be.
Yeah,
That's
just
huge. That's
staying
huge.
away from produce.
All right, you ready?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
3, 2, 1, go.
This week I'm going to actually talk about remastered. So, as you probably heard on Under Your Thumb, I got Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, and that is a remaster and a remake of 3 great games from the PlayStation 1 over 20 years ago. However, getting a remake of Jak and Daxter Trilogy that came out on the PS3 and the PS2, that's kind of bullshit. So I think that there are certain ones or certain remasters that make sense. Other games I feel like are just kind of cashing in at this point. So I feel like that's a pretty
Time.
big issue.
Steve?
That was
Okey-doke.
a quick 30 seconds. I wasn't.
That was
They
quick.
all are.
Yeah.
You did a great job, though, Brian.
Hey, thanks. I didn't have anything.
Yeah, let's not talk about it, okay? That's not how
First news
this works.
story.
Do you want to do the drunken
not
news? Or
how
would
this-
you rather? Would you rather?
That's
just
not
leave?
how it works.
Would you rather?
We
just
don't.
a hot
leave?
date.
Do you got a
We
hot
don't-
date? You have
Yes,
somewhere
I
to
do.
tonight?
I got a hot date.
Yeah.
With this
Destiny.
flashlight, don't.
Hey, they're expensive. Okay, I just.
Yeah.
I'm
You would
never-
know,
never
I
mind.
guess. Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse 2 makes Switch debut in September. So we're getting Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse 2 on September 22nd in North America and Europe. The Switch version will offer a 6-player local option as well, and optional motion controls for throwing something in Dragon Ball Z that I don't know how to say.
Kamehameha.
Kamehameha waves.
Yeah,
Yeah, those
2
are
points
the-
for you,
those are
1
them.
point each
Yay.
for
Excellent.
that.
Excellent.
I like that. Killing it.
I would have rather seen Dragon Ball Z Fighters or whatever that one is, the fighting game that looks awesome.
It's not the new one.
No, it's just
This-
well,
This
it
a
is a
combat RPG with a
Yeah.
player-created fighter taking part in an original story set in Dragon Ball Z universe.
yeah. So it is. I think Dragon Ball Xenoverse, the first one, is out on both platforms, major platforms right now, and then I think the second one's coming out, but it's also coming to the Switch.
Interesting.
I would have rather see the 2D fighting game. I think that one looks fucking
Yeah,
dope
the
as hell.
Switch probably
but-
can't run it.
I mean, I
-5.
I feel like that is your
Cut 'em-
go-to
cut 'em
phrase.
down.
I mean,
You haven't even
chop 'em
held
down,
one, have
Steve.
you?
I've held one.
Have you played Zelda? Because that runs pretty nicely.
Played it on the Wii.
Runs
Well,
runs
that-
great. Steven with a V.
Next news story: For Honor creative director leaves Ubisoft. So Jason Vandenberg
I think
2 points for you,
has
Steve.
confirmed that he has
Nailed it.
left a position within Ubisoft's Montreal studio. He leapt into spotlight after personally announcing For Honor to the world during E3 2015. Prior to Ubisoft, he held positions at Activision and EA, a veteran of the trade. He departs after spending 9 years at Ubisoft, spent across several successful projects.
Is there a reason that he said that he wanted to leave? I mean, he's clearly a veteran, so maybe it's just time for him to, take his leave. But I feel like For Honor is a weird one to fucking bow out on. You know what I'm saying?
It was a piece of shit.
No, it wasn't.
he's
It was
going-
good. It just didn't do all that well.
He's going to ArenaNet.
Never heard of it.
ArenaWha?
ArenaNet.
Oh, isn't that that's a fucking MOBA thing. I think Dota 2 is all about that shit. I don't know.
Which is
MOBAs are
almost
for
now 5 years old and
So
one major
misinformed.
expansion
For
into
nerds.
Guild.
it's really for nerds.
Guild Wars 2.
You see, I knew it. It was something. You fucking PC.
It's another nerd one.
PC nerds. Actually, it's more of a MOBA thing. I'm sorry.
They are
I
elite.
didn't mean for.
I
I
think
didn't mean
he said on Facebook, the story is long and complicated. The TR, too long didn't read version is that I went out there on a lark and then fell head over heels in love. Isaiah did an amazing job of setting the table. but it was all the people that I met there that sealed the deal. It's a big step. I won't be making games directly anymore. I'll be studio level, shepherding teams and growing people. I'm sort of thrilled about how difficult that sounds. Exactly what I want to be doing right now. So
I mean, it sounds like it's just the next logical step for him in his career. I mean, like he says,
agree.
he sounds like he doesn't want to actually make any more games. He just kind of wants to help.
I wouldn't
lead
say that.
teams.
Sounds like the money was just too good to resist.
I mean, maybe that is a fact, but
He
it's
met
certainly
the team.
not in the
He's excited. He
studio
didn't
or
say that
the
he didn't want to
story.
make games anymore. He said,
Well, no,
unfortunately.
he said that he doesn't want that in his life anymore. He just said that he's excited to go on to this next part in his life. I don't know.
I don't think that's what it said. But hey, I
Good
think
for him.
we're coming to the same conclusion here.
Is that
Said
next
nobody's
story?
gonna miss him.
Wow.
I don't know this guy. See ya. It was great to know ya. Bye.
Excellent insight, Justin.
Sources tell me that nobody cares. Steve?
Noah's second expansion is coming. That's how you say it, right?
Nioh.
Neo. I don't fucking know. Team Ninja's samurai action role-playing game. Neo.
Neo. Think of it like the Matrix.
Good tip.
I'll give you a good tip.
Ew, Brian.
Phrasing.
That's gross.
No phrasing. I'm just
I don't know.
I'm just
Getting
giving you
its
that tip.
second paid DLC version very soon. Defiant Honor will launch July 25th and will cost $10. It will feature a winter siege upon one of Japan's most famous historical landmarks, Osaka Castle.
I love the sigh. The sigh right before you try it. It's just like the best. Like, here we go. Here it comes. Alrighty. 2 points for you, Steve.
Yeah, that's coming.
I mean, I haven't
Are you gonna check
finished
this out?
Nioh. No, I haven't finished it. My buddy Chris has borrowed it from me. But, I mean, I liked it, but it's a very long game. It's actually very long. I probably put over 20 plus hours into it. And
Longer than like Bloodborne and Dark Souls, or just
Well, I guess
not?
that depends on how skilled
Yeah,
you are.
I think it is. I think it is. It's a fun game. They're already on their second DLC. I mean, who pays for DLC anymore? You know, I'm
I had a
not
great rant about that last week.
Yeah. Pay DLC?
No, just DLC in general.
Yeah.
People being ungrateful.
Exactly. I
fucked-
agree.
Then I think I fucked up the show notes on that.
God damn it, Steven.
Fucking Steve,
Couldn't remember what the rant
man.
was, and I don't think I listened.
It's a good thing we fucking
Wow.
recorded this then.
Wow. All in.
That was
Going
the
all
rant.
in.
I thought it was. I don't know. I'm gonna go look.
My God, man. So,
Negative points for Steven.
Negative points on that for Steve
those 2
dropping
points
the
away.
ball.
But yeah, no, I mean, I like the game. It's just
It's not going to happen.
It's just not
Took
gonna,
too long.
Yeah, it really. I think
The
it
end
was too
never
long.
came.
It was a lot of fun. It was a very hard game. I mean, it was just like Bloodborne and Dark Souls, but I felt like they had a really interesting thing with the 3 different stances in the Japanese setting. So you're a samurai instead of just being a knight or anything like that. So I like the setting of everything, but it was too long for me.
Fair enough.
Couldn't
Did
deal
you
with
ever play the Siege? What the fuck was that? The Strain?
Surge.
Surge.
No, but I will this weekend because it's free this weekend.
Excellent. I
There's
look
a free
forward to
demo
next
of that.
week.
Yeah, so I got a couple games
Tangent
coming for next
podcast.
week. So, but I will be trying that out. That was a game that it only dropped to $30 on the Steam sale. Wasn't worth it.
Wasn't the 90% like
No, Steve would have been proud. I wanted to buy it, but it was like
X'd it.
30% off. It was bullshit.
fuck that nonsense.
Your rant wasn't about Doomfist.
Mostly just how companies in general, people are just pissed off about things not working the way that they want it to be, when you should just be grateful that they're making DLC.
For free.
Oh, I do kind of remember that now.
Yeah, kind of rings a
God
bell
damn
or
it,
two.
No big deal. That's all the news I have. I heard there's
Wow,
some,
that's a quick.
Wow,
Well,
good
people
thing
have
that
to
I
sit-
got some news.
Well, it'd be nice if you guys submitted news, you know? That would help.
Speaking of Doomfist,
It was a slow week out there.
So I actually have a couple
So, yeah.
couple news articles, and I thought we'd have a little bit more, but I will start with this one. Lawbreakers isn't on Switch due to lack of buttons, according to the dev.
oh yeah. Well, I mean,
So that was
we
the
can-
original
Okay.
story that
Lack
came
of-
out. So the developers admit wrong about the lack of buttons. So
I was about to say, what the hell?
yeah,
They
so
got all the
they said
buttons.
there's a possibility for everything and anything in this world. I think the hardest part with the Switch is the controls. Look at the game that we have right now. And we just literally by the skin of our teeth, put the entire game in control pad that the PlayStation has. That means that we could probably make it for the Xbox One in some way, right? But if you're looking at the Switch, the base controller that's on the unit, it doesn't have as many buttons. So I think they were just talking about the base controller. They weren't talking about the Pro controller.
Well, even they still have the same amount of buttons. Base and the Pro controller have the same amount of buttons.
Yeah, basically the dev, I think, just doesn't want to
Didn't-
put it on the Switch.
I feel like he didn't have
Maybe
the
there's
correct
just-
thing to say, so he was just. I mean, like these kind of things happen all the time, where a PR person or somebody that doesn't have an answer to a question just kind of spitballs an idea and goes like, "Oh yeah, that sounded right," and then backlash from the internet. He sounds like an idiot. And then they went to Twitter, so Lawbreakers official Twitter like tweeted out something like it was like DualShock 4 controller equals Nintendo Pro controller, and it's just like we get it, our bad.
Yeah.
Like they fucked up. Which in this day and age, you got to admit, like, okay, they fucked up. They know that they're wrong. Whatever, we're gonna move on. And I feel
mean-
like it wasn't even bad. Like people were just like, oh, that's just fucking.
If you could
silly
play
at this
Lawbreakers
point.
on the Switch, like that would get me to buy a Switch.
No, it wouldn't. You're gonna buy it on. You're gonna
On PC, yeah, but I'm just saying if you could play Lawbreakers on the go,
calling you on your bluff. If they bring that to the Switch, you're not gonna buy one.
If you could play any of these high demanding games on it.
well, it's just that's a very fast-paced multiplayer shooter. It doesn't seem like you would be able to play on the Switch.
I feel like they could get it going at 720. They could probably do handheld mode. 720 probably no problem. But the big thing is it's online mode.
Yeah,
Like
it's only online.
yeah, so I don't think the network would be able to handle that. But I think that they could probably run the game like locally on it, no problem. It's just the online that I don't think would jive if you
Why do you even want to play it on a console anymore?
I mean, I really don't, but it's just that game is fucking awesome.
That's why I'm
So
calling them on
would-
it.
I would buy a Switch if that came out on it.
No way.
Yeah, I would.
No
You
way.
buy
I
a
would.
Switch to play Mario. I mean,
This
why
would
you get
also
it.
be on the Switch, and then Mario comes out. Yeah, but I would buy it if I could play it. I mean, it's never gonna happen. So
We'll see.
Is this another Halo bet in the works?
yeah. Speaking of Halo, Steve, District 9's Neil Blum.
It's almost like we planned it.
Wants to write the Halo movie again. He wants to
Who?
do it. Neil Blomkamp, the guy that did District 9.
which was a sick movie.
Yeah, District
movie.
9's Neil Blomkamp.
Yeah, I would say that's
It's a
Blomkamp.
fucking sweet name.
Yeah, District 9. He made District 9, but he was in talks to do a Halo movie beforehand. He's always spoke highly of Halo. He loves the universe of Halo and wants to do it. But he says, obviously, right now he doesn't have a contract to do it or anything. But he's trying to get some momentum on it. So basically, he just said, "I love Halo still, but I seem to have a bad track record of turning existing franchises into films. Haha. Do I love the world? Master Chief, Reach, the colonies,
What's
the
that even
Flood,
mean?
the Covenant." Yes, I am going to end up directing
District
a
9
piece
must have been
in
something.
the world. Probably not, meaning no one is asking me, although I must say if Microsoft asked me to do another batch of pieces like Landfall now, I would say yes inside. That would be very cool, actually. So he actually did Landfall, which was that short miniseries that came out before Halo 5. I remember that. My hope for a Halo movie is still out there. I think it would be a great if they could do it right. I think it would be a great movie. So
yeah. I'd like to see
especially the guy from District 9 would be probably good.
if
for
there
it.
is something
You can tell
in
he
the
loves
Halo
aliens.
like lore. I would rather see it like an untold story of Master Chief, or it doesn't need to be Halo 1 or Halo 2.
I think if you did Halo, like how Master Chief came to be, like his training as a young child and stuff. Like I've read
and then his first mission or
comics
whatever,
and the
then-
books of when he was a child and how he was taken away from his family and how he was built.
Replaced by a clone.
Wasn't that a podcast series at one point?
It was they had before Halo 5 there was that behind the scenes there was a journalist that was reporting on certain things that he was finding out and how Master Chief when he was a teenager killed 6 soldiers
in a
all with
bar.
6
Yeah.
punches and stuff like that. So I think it would be a cool story. Moving on, so our last pieces of news, I have a couple stories on Overwatch. So an inside look at the new Overwatch League with 7 city-based teams. So
Look out for Gary in the New England team.
yeah, right. But speaking of New England, owner of the Patriots, Robert Kraft, has purchased the Boston team. So,
Yeah.
Robert Kraft, chairman and chief executive officer of Kraft Group in the New England Patriots, has the Boston team. So there's a Boston team, there's a New York team, a Los Angeles, Miami, Orlando, San Francisco, Shanghai, and Scowl. I don't know what Scowl
Where
is.
is that? Does it say?
No.
Okay.
But yeah, so they're starting their Overwatch league, and it seems like they're doing things the right way. They're building it up, and now they have some pretty credible owners.
Hopefully they'll
for
be knocking it down.
Well, I would imagine that they're gonna get it ready for TV and
Yep.
everything, and now they're gonna have city-based teams. Whereas like esports nowadays, there's no city-based teams. Like it's
No,
all
it's
just
just
teams.
organizations.
Wherever, yep.
So people like their different orgs and stuff like that. Now, if you have like a city, like you can cheer for the Boston Overwatch team. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then let's see, more Overwatch news. So this is what we were talking about earlier. If this thing ever wants to load, this competitive season of Overwatch makes it harder to climb, and people aren't happy about it. So
I mean, I haven't really played too much competitive this.
okay,
this
so
season.
people aren't thrilled with the way the competitive portion of Overwatch is playing out this season. To recap, Blizzard purposely made it so you need to climb, as you'll now rank lower than you should be. However, how much lower? Well, according to principal designer Scott Mercer, around 50 games from last season. If you're a light competitive player, you're probably going, screw that. I don't blame you, as this is the first season I sat out to date. The idea of having SR impacted by individual player performance as it is now is a great idea, especially if you're performing above your losing team, but it doesn't actually play out as intended. For starters, if you're picking a popular character and don't do as well as the expected average, you won't shoot up as much in the rankings even if you win. It's an even bigger problem for support heroes, as applying quantitative restrictions against them doesn't account for big nuanced plays that lead to wins. So
Like a two-man res, was that a good time to
at
do it
the
as
end of the
opposed to a
game,
four-man?
that saved the game.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't resonate with the way that they're going about how far you climb up in SR. It's all based off of, okay, you play soldier, this is how much the average soldier player gets for kills, damage done, and then if your team wins, you get a little bit more. Even if your team loses, you only go down a certain amount depending on how you play. So it's the first season that they've integrated this type of climbing mechanism.
That kind of rings a few bells with me, because my placement matches, I lost 7. I only won 3. And I played as Zenyatta for the most part. I don't think I played it as anybody else. And I ranked in, I was placed in high gold, which I think it was like, I was honestly 2490. So I was like 10 points away from platinum.
Yeah.
But I was really expecting to be placed in silver, because 7 losses, that's not good. But I must have been doing really well as Zenyatta, and maybe better than most Zen players.
Yep.
So
Especially at that time.
At that like time and level where I'm at. So I thought that I guess that kind of makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating for someone like myself, because I mean, the way that I like competitive games to be, and this comes from the Halo days, like in Halo, if your team wins, you rank up. If you lose, you rank down. Like it's the way it should be.
It's still pretty similar though, no?
No, it's
I mean,
based upon
how you
individual
perform.
player and how you play towards the average of everyone else.
So
that
like,
plays that same
let's say
character.
for example, I still lost. My team lost.
You're going to go down, but depending on how well you played, it depends on how.
I could go up, is what you're
No,
saying?
you just
Okay,
won't
It's
go
just
down
depending
as
on
much.
how far you'll go down.
Okay,
If
gotcha.
you played extremely high and your team still lost, then you won't go down as much. But if your team wins, but you played so-so, you're only going to go up.
Well, I feel like that's always been the case, no?
No.
No,
So
just a
how
win
did
is a
they-
win.
It's
So-
all based off of wins.
So like previous seasons, it was, like let's say if I had 73 kills as Winston, I had 5 gold medals, and we
you win.
lost, right? Let's say I would go. I thought I would only go down like 15 points.
No, you'd still go down.
You would still go down like the 30 or 40.
It would
or
all be
whatever.
depending on, how at the beginning of each game it shows your team's
Yeah.
SR. If you're facing a team with lower SR and you lose to that team, you'd go down a lot. If you face a team with higher SR and you beat that team, then you go up a lot.
Okay, but if you gotcha.
Yeah.
That's how I like it to be. But so I mean, but the good thing about Overwatch is that they they make these type of changes, and I'm sure
They
they'll-
always fix.
You know what I
things.
don't like about that though is that it kind of promotes individual play
Well,
rather than team
in the
play.
Well,
article.
and that's against.
That's what
Yeah.
what they're.
Well, no,
saying.
that's what I'm saying
Yeah.
is to recap. Yes.
Yeah. So another quick story on Overwatch. Overwatch director states that a new punishment update is coming. So this is
That's
actually
cool.
huge for me.
because people are quitting out in games. Like
Quitting out, but
fucking us
throwing
up.
games is the big term here. So, for instance, if somebody loads into every ranked game they play and they state, "I'm throwing the game," walk into the enemy team the entire match without firing back, then
Waving.
repeat it multiple times, and that's probably ban worthy. The problem publishers like Blizzard often don't execute on player reports, leading to slow decay of enjoyment. While he refrained from being pretty particular about it, Overwatch director Jeff Kaplan stated this week that a post is coming soon regarding updates for the punishment system, which could bring about the long discussed overhaul for reporting. Basically, this is more of a PC thing, but I run into it all the time where players will just get triggered and they just get angry and be like, "I'm fucking throwing this. Like, I don't give a shit." And then everyone's like, report this player. And so everybody starts reporting the player for throwing the game and making it not fun, but nothing really comes of it. And so now Blizzard's saying they're listening and they're probably figuring out a way that if this person gets reported so many times for throwing a game, that there's going to be some bans that are coming down.
Good.
Yeah, well, obviously, very good. I mean, there's nothing like I play casually on my Xbox. Like even in quick play, when somebody drops, I'm like, why the fuck? Like, all right, maybe you had something to do, maybe you needed to leave or whatever, but like, why would you drop mid match? Like,
I
are
hate
you
that in competitive. That's the worst. Then we
well,
get the
yeah,
loss. It's
you
like
get
such
the
shit.
It is the worst in competitive, but I'm just saying, like in general, I can't stand it when somebody just quits.
I don't mind it in quick play, but I mean, competitive, I don't run into people leaving the match that often. And if they do, they just disconnect it and they'll come back.
There's nothing better than when you're winning and then you start losing because somebody dropped and then they come back and you're like, oh, fuck yeah, let's do this. All right.
Well, I told you that, was it a couple weeks ago, how a kid on my team quit mid-match and we
still won.
And we still won. Like,
Yeah.
that was awesome. But that usually doesn't happen. So, yeah.
No, not usually.
So that's some good stuff. And then just another quick Overwatch story. I actually had 4 of them. So with 119 patches, Overwatch sets the bar for post-launch support. So they've done 119 patches since the game came out, which is pretty fucking incredible.
Nice work.
There's nothing really else to say about it, but I mean, we all talk about it all the time, but they're just always reworking the system and putting things together. And it feels like they're not even close to finished with this game right now. I don't think they're even thinking about it. They're probably thinking about a second one, but why even do that when they have all these new characters coming out and then they have the Overwatch League that's about to start up? Like, there's no reason to do so.
Yeah, I feel like it's so well polished at this point that there's no real, unless you're introducing a whole different cast of characters,
Yeah.
like, sure, maybe you bring back a couple ones, but like at this point in time, like you kind of have a perfect competitive shooter right now. Like, don't fuck with that. You have this great scene and great community of people that play this game. Just keep supporting this game and make it the best that you possibly can. I'm gonna say down the line, like I would say that they're like I figured with Doomfist they were gonna wrap up the character DLC, but it doesn't sound like they have any
No, I think
intentions of stopping.
There was
right
like a
now.
leak of like there's at least 2 more characters coming.
Which is great. Like, sure, you know, the next year 2 of Overwatch. What is year 2 of Overwatch? 4 new characters, 5 new maps. Great. I'm down. I would, again, I mean, I buy every event that I really like a skin, I'll buy 10 or 20 boxes. And that's another $20 that goes to them. And it's like, I don't mind spending that money because I am enjoying this game for over a year. I buy games like all the time that I spend 2 hours on and I spent $60 on, and I'm like, fuck this No Man's Sky game. You know, like I don't mind giving them more money for making stuff that I love.
Yeah.
So I hope that they don't have Overwatch 2 in their
I don't
in
think
their
they
sites.
do at this moment.
I just hope that they're focused on one
because
thing.
the
and-
amount of changes that you can make to the in-game characters in the patches and the nerfs and the bounces and just everything that they can do, they can completely change characters. I mean, like look at Symmetra.
Yeah.
If things start getting stale, like they can just overhaul somebody's character real quickly, and it's a good place to be at. Overwatch is far from dead. It's they're absolutely killing it. It's probably my game of the year for 2017. So even though we're still in 2016. But I'm done with my news, Steve.
Sweet.
With a V.
Stephen with a V.
Sweet,
We got,
sweet serenity.
We get tallies.
Yeah.
Justin wins. 4 points.
So we got Gary at -5.
Yeah.
Brian at 1. Justin at 1.
Oh, shit.
You guys rock, paper, scissoring again?
Close your eyes, Fred. close your eyes.
Wait, what?
Rock, paper,
Are
scissors,
we
shoot.
actually closing our eyes?
No, we'll do this
Alright.
off air.
We're going to do it off air.
Yeah, I don't want any evidence.
Well, that's going to be it for the Drunken News Game Show this week. We're going to take a quick break and come right back with what we're doing on the site, our Twitter handles, and all that jazz. So stick around.